Years ago, this thing's on. Years ago, when I first got into first had the desire to read the Bible, I was looking for some answers to questions I had. And I really went all in. As far as, I want to say that I was studying, but just reading. And get to the swamp here. I spent a lot of time reading. Was I understanding the Bible? Not really. But it was on my mind all the time. And there were certain things I'd picked up that at that time I believed were true, but with respect to the fact that I was new. I could be wrong. So I wasn't stubbornly hanging on to this first thing I learned. Like I said, until I understood the bigger picture, I was wrong about a lot of things. But I had friends that were longtime Christians and preachers and teachers and all that. And there's a lot of things, there's a handful of things that I picked up in the beginning that are things that, I'll put it this way, people are trying to get me to believe certain things in the beginning that are foundational to the evangelical Bible truths. And that's just not what I was reading. I figured, okay, I said I didn't have the confidence, but I'm like, either they're misunderstood or I'm so far off I shouldn't even attempt to do this. And without getting into down in the weeds, I said there's a couple foundational things that most Christians believe that I just believe have been taught wrong. They're and it offsets things just enough where it sends you off on a path in error. And I've talked about these in videos in the past, and that really isn't the importance of this video. What I would do is I'd have Bible conversations with these people, and they say, "Whoa, say that again?" I said, "Well, Jesus is this." I said, "Oh, no, you got that wrong. Jesus is this. It says here, blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing." I'm like, really? And like I said, I don't want to get down the weeds. And so what they would typically say, because I'm new, I'm the new guy, they would say, I think it's Proverbs 3, "Do not lean on your own understanding." There's actually more to that verse, but the gist of it is, do not lean on your own understanding. And that is in the Bible. Proverbs 3:5, verse 5, I think it is. I just read it. And so that kind of hold me back. I'm like, well, I'm just not reading it that way. But maybe they're right. I just got to hang on and see how it plays out as I continue in this study. And then I would ask them, I said, well, if I'm not to lean on my own understanding, what am I to do? They said, well, why did you come into our Bible meeting and we have a pastor there, or we have these people there that are, Bible teachers, and they'll tell you what I just said is true and all that. I said, so whose understanding am I leaning on then? So what do you mean? I said, well, I'm leaning on you and your group. They say, well, yeah, but they're led by the Spirit and all this kind of thing. And so then that threw me. I said, well, wait a minute. I feel that the interpretation, what you've interpreted, is an error. And your whole group that you're aligned with probably thinks the same thing, that you have this certain interpretation of that verse, let's say. And you're just a bunch of men. I'm going to have to assume a great deal to follow you in this when my heart tells me, this ain't right. I'm not leaning on my own understanding. I'm leaning on you and your group, some guy. I said, I don't think that's right either. I'm not saying that I can't be wrong, but to suddenly relinquish my brain and lock into your group and just think this is the gospel, I don't think that's correct either. And so that's why I didn't go to, I mean, don't go to church, didn't go to a lot of churches. And I always kind of did on my own. I had a few people that have walked in my life that were great help. But really didn't find myself going into the whole group think thing. Reason I bring this up, as I don't want to make this too long a video. As I got further into it, started reading more, it took a while. But you go to, I talked about this before, you go to John, I think it's chapter 16, 14, 15, 16. We are given the Spirit of truth. Okay? If you want it bad enough, if you're obedient enough, if you, you're out there struggling to walk, you are given the Spirit of truth. You may not get it today, but it's given to you. It's a promise. So if you're going to lean on an understand one thing. You will be given the Spirit of truth, and it comes from the greatest teacher there is. And that's what you hold out for. If you pray, meditate on the words you're reading, and you are studying that Bible, not just study, just reading it, revelation will come. Okay? You don't need a pastor for that. You don't. You need some Bible school for that. But I'll give you a piece of advice. Don't take something that, oh, I got this figured out. This is the gospel. Just accept what you have. It may change as revelation comes. You don't want to be, you don't want to hang on to anything too tightly. Because like I said, as you study, meditate, and prayer, things change. They start to develop, they start to evolve. And so you have to be ready to move with it. And people say, well, how do you know when you get revelation? Oh, you know. You know. But you have things, and I deal with this every day. I've been losing this battle. You have things competing for your attention. All right? I have a lot of things competing for my attention that I've not been giving that attention to Bible study, prayer, meditation, that sort of thing. And I can see the result. But when you make that decision, say, okay, I'm going to go deeper in this. Don't be afraid. If you go back to Proverbs 3, it's Proverbs 3, I think it's 5 through 6, when he says, do not lean on your own understanding. Before that, it says something to the effect of, trust in God. Okay? Then there was something else, do not lean on your own understanding. In other words, wait. You have questions? Read, pray, meditate, and wait. The answers will be given. That's what John 14, 15, 16 is all about. You will be led. You will have the Spirit of truth. Revelation comes from above. All that's a guarantee. But you got to have your attention in that direction. You got to have those questions you're asking and waiting on the answers. I think I've rambled on long enough. Someone tells you not to lean on your own understanding. They get you to go listen to their friend or a preacher or a video. Be aware of that. Just take it with a grain of salt. If you bring me something that sounds good, I'll set it on the shelf and wait till revelation puts that on my heart. Anyhow, love you. God bless.